This Marquee Dragon video is sponsored by Shattered Crystal, game codes, and items.
Hello, I'm Marquee Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life. And today I got John Gibson with me, and John is going to show us Red Orchestra. And it's not the original Red Orchestra, it's now it's the second version, right?
Right, Heroes of Stalingrad, the sequel.
So, John, what is your title here at the company?
Okay, like he said, I'm John Gibson. I'm the president of Tripwire Interactive.
President?
Yes.
So we're talking to the top.
The boss man, yes.
The boss man. Woohoo! Okay. So, can you, for those who have not seen Red Orchestra before or played it, can you briefly tell me what it is?
Sure. So, Red Orchestra is a realistic first-person shooter that is set on the Eastern Front of World War II. It focuses on the battles between the Germans and the Russians. Particularly for Heroes of Stalingrad, we're focusing on the actual Battle of Stalingrad. So the whole game takes place during the Battle of Stalingrad.
Cool.
The Red Orchestra has traditionally been very multiplayer focused. There's a lot of multiplayer in the new game as well as some single player. We feature infantry combat as well as some very detailed vehicle combat.
Vehicle combat? Now,
that means tanks.
Tanks?
Yes.
Sweet. Was there tanks in the first one? There
was tanks in the first one, but not like this. Although we're not showing the tanks today, but there's a good view of them in the trailer that...
Okay. So, and I understand that we're getting a copy of the trailer.
Correct.
And so what we'll do is, in fact, right now, I'll put up a link right there, and you can click on that. It'll pause this current video, and you can go watch the trailer, and then come back to this one. And so, let's see something in the game.
Okay, great. I'll fire it up. So I'm going to show you some of the multiplayer gameplay for Heroes of Stalingrad. I'm going to be playing against AI. The first game type I'm going to show you is called Territory. Territory is an expanded version of the game type that was featured in the original Red Orchestra. The level that I'm going to show you is a remake of one of the most popular Red Orchestra Ostfront maps. The original map was called Danzig. It's a close quarters infantry combat map. We've now set this in an apartment area around Stalingrad. So I'm going to play the game and show you some of the cool new features of the game.
By the way, I did see the trailer. I saw it outside.
Okay.
And I loved the body parts blown apart. It looks bloody.
You know, we don't want to overdo the gore, but we do want to have a realistic representation of the brutality of war.
So I like the bokeh effect, where you got the blur. Whenever you're not focusing on something, it really draws you into what you're supposed to be looking at.
So what you see me demonstrating here is the first-person cover system. I can walk up into objects in the game, lock onto the cover. I can move along the cover. I can take a quick peek by pressing forward. I can pop up with my iron sights key and fire at enemies. Then I can even blind fire over the top of the cover.
That's cool. I can see that being used a lot in multiplayer. Oh, they're all coming. Now, what different types of characters are there? Is there snipers and infantry and...
Yeah, so we feature many different classes. We have an assault class. They get the submachine gun, elite assault. They get access to some special battle rifles, riflemen, elite riflemen, semi-automatic rifles, machine gunner, marksman, squad leader, and commander.
So, and marksman, that would be the sharpshooter. Sniper.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I like to play. I like to sit and hide, and well, that's how I usually end up. Yeah. But yeah, that's my style.
So one of the things we like to point out here, if you see when the German soldiers are running, you'll notice that they're carrying their weapon in one hand. But if you see the Russian soldiers running, let's see if I can find one. If you see a Russian soldier running, they carry their weapon in two hands. This is actually how the real soldiers were trained to carry their weapons.
Oh, okay.
So we've added this to the game not just as a visual aspect, but as a gameplay element. Because if you see a soldier running in the distance carrying a weapon in one hand, you know it's a German. So if you're a Russian, you shoot him.
Okay. graphics are really nice.
Yeah.
So, obviously, the game is inspired by some events in World War II.
Yes.
And was there anything else that inspired this? I mean, how did Red Orchestra come about?
Red Orchestra originally came about when we got our start as a mod team back in 2003. The idea really was, at the time we felt that no one was making a World War II game, or, well, actually nobody was making a shooter that played the way that we wanted it to play. No one was really doing the authenticity, the level of detail, the realism that we wanted in a game that we wanted to play. So we said, hey, let's make a game that plays the way we want it to play. And we got our start as an amateur team doing a mod version of Red Orchestra, a mod for Unreal Tournament 2004.
Yeah, actually, I remember seeing news articles about it.
Yes.
You guys made some headlines.
What's that?
You guys made some headlines.
We did, particularly because we entered Epic's Make Something Unreal contest, which was a competition that they held to find the best modders for Unreal Tournament. We actually won that competition. We won 2 engine licenses for the older version of their engine and the more recent version of the engine that you see here. And we're actually using those engine licenses to make our games now. And that's kind of how we got our start, and then we formed a company, started making commercial games. So
you really are a player turned developer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what every kid dreams of doing.
Yeah, I like to say we had a little bit of luck, a lot of hard work, and being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So I can actually give commands to my individual fire teams. As a squad leader, I'm going to try to get my rifle team up here. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
To give me some covering fire on the Germans across the courtyard.
How many people can you have in this in multiplayer?
64.
64 and 32 on each team?
Correct. Let's see if I can send my assault team over here to clear the area out. We actually, one of the things we're doing with the new game that we didn't do with the original game as well is we made the original game to play with a lot of players, but it actually didn't play that well with a few players. So we're actually setting up the new game to scale really well for different player counts. So we actually change the layout of the level, the paths, the size of the playable area, so that 8 on 8 is fun, 16 on 16 is fun, and 32 on 32.
And so, did you just say you're resizing the maps for that, or
We changed the playable area, so
okay.
we can actually block off paths. We can add and remove things from the level, and then we have basically borders. They're minefields essentially that restrict the play area for the smaller play sizes.
Well, that makes sense.
Because we really wanted the game to be fun on a large scale or even on a small scale with some of your buddies.
Now, I know you mentioned that you're going to have tanks in the game, but you weren't going to be showing any.
Yes.
But can you tell me a scenario of how I would use a tank in the game?
Yes. So there's 2 types of tank maps featured in the game.
Yeah, I'm going deaf just a little bit here.
Sorry.
It's okay.
There's 2 types of tanks featured in the game. There's 2 types of tank scenarios. One is what we call the combined arms scenario, where you might have 1 or 2 supporting tanks supporting an infantry. In those scenarios, usually it's going to be like an urban environment, because we want to put the tanks in their element where they would be vulnerable to infantry. Because if you put them in a wide open field with infantry, the tanks always win. So, and that's a lesson we learned from the first game. We found that urban environments, the tanks and infantry fighting together was the most fun because the tanks wouldn't completely destroy the infantry. The other type of scenario we have is a full-on tank battle. So we have some levels where it's 64 tanks on the steppe outside of Russia, rolling planes, firing shots at very long range. Just really your very quintessential tank battles.
That sounds like my type of game. So, is there any character development in this, or is it just you've got your guy, you just choose one of them, and you can't enhance them?
There is a lot of character development, as a matter of fact. The name of the game, Heroes of Stalingrad, actually comes from the goal of your character in the game, which is to get to a hero level. Now, one thing we like to say is hero doesn't mean you're a super soldier. It just means that you're a very high-level veteran that will inspire the other soldiers. So you start out and you're a raw recruit. Your character will look kind of young and clean-shaven, very new-looking uniform. As you play the game in multiplayer and in single player, you will rank up your character and first go to a soldier that's a bit more experienced, eventually getting your way all the way up to a hero, which looks more war-weary. Their uniform is a bit more worn and torn up. So, but they also have an effect on the gameplay, because the game features a morale system, even in multiplayer, which will affect how quickly your team can capture objectives. So a hero soldier will inspire their teammates and increase their morale, and put fear into the enemy team and decrease their morale. I'll show you squad leader,
okay.
German squad leader here at next level, marksman.
Okay, excellent.
And we've got some really neat marksman stuff to show you. So this level, the first level featured territory, which was a respawn-based game type. A respawn-based game type meaning when you die, as you saw, I would go into a queue, and then when the timer would come up, I'd respawn. Countdown is a variation of a single life game type. What that means is, a traditional single life game type is you've got one life to capture all of the objectives.
Okay.
But what we do is a variation of that, because in a traditional single life game type, you have to keep the levels kind of small so that so the players don't get too spread out, and you keep the gameplay intense. For instance, in a single life game type, if all the players are dead but two, you don't want them spread out all over the level trying to find each other. It's just not fun. So, but what we've done is implemented some systems that allow us to do a variation of a single life game type, but in much larger scenarios and much more complex gameplay scenarios that have more depth. And I'll show you how we do that.
Okay, good, because you lost me there just a little bit.
I'll catch you up.
Okay. Now, one thing I'm noticing, you're playing this on a television. Now, it's a PC game?
Correct.
Is it just going to be PC, or is there going to be any console stuff?
It's PC.
PC only?
Yes.
But it works really nice on a TV, so I can really see sitting on my couch playing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll bring up my tactical view here. As you can see, most of the time we have a completely uncluttered HUD except for the compass in the lower right. We really think that it's more immersive if you don't have a bunch of stuff on the screen all this time. You really feel more like you're in World War II, not like you're the Terminator with stuff all over your HUD.
Okay.
But we do need to feed the player information, so that's where we came up with the concept of tactical view. The player presses a key, they get all the information that they need, where their objective is, how much time they have, and all that. And then when they release it, it goes away.
To bring that up again, so this is your objective on the map, and then it's also
my objective in the world.
Okay.
Yeah. As you can see here, I have a single objective. So the way Countdown works is you get one life per team member for each objective. So what you have is these very intense tactical single life battles centered around a single objective, but when that objective is captured, all the dead players respawn, and then the battle moves further into the level. So if you look here, the actual final objective is going to be to clear out the Russians from the top floor of the grain elevator.
So it's almost like broke into sections.
Correct.
But if you're really good, you could make it all in one shot? Is that how it's working?
Well, because you respawn, you respawn when your team captures an objective, so you don't have to do it all in one go.
I get it. And you don't really, and when a guy dies, he has to wait out
till the end of that section.
Right, right. And all he gets to do is sit and watch the other guys play?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so we just captured the first objective.
Okay.
Now all of the dead players are respawn.
There we go.
And we've got another objective that's further in the level.
Okay. This is cool. This is actually a really good idea. This is not, this keeps it fresh, and you're with the same people, and so if you're working well with them, you can continue to do so.
Yep. Now, one of the things that we discovered when we first started prototyping this is people still would have a tendency to sort of spread out to the corners of the level because they only have a single life and try to pick each other off. So then we came up with the concept of the countdown. If you see at the top there, the tactical view, you've got the countdown timer. This will also automatically pop up at intervals to let you know how much time you have left. But what this does is it causes the players on attack and defense to get into the objective area quickly. They can't spread out. They have to get in and fight.
It keeps the pace going too.
Yes.
Yeah. I like those lighting effects. Yeah, it's really nice.
So we've captured this objective. Now we move on to the ground floor of the grain
What's the
elevator.
difference between the guys with the green names and the guys with the blue-gray?
The green, the guy, I'm a squad leader, so the green guys are the guys that are in my squad.
Oh, okay.
Those are guys I can give orders to. Like if you see here, those are the guys that I can give orders to. The
Okay.
blue guys are guys that are on my team, but they're not actually in my squad, so I can't give orders to them.
Okay, I see. I like how you can have the effect of lowered light in here, but at the same time, you can still see well.
That's, the guy's dying over there. That's particularly important for a multiplayer game. My AI buddies are doing really good today.
They're just breezing you right. You must be on easy mode.
Super, super easy mode.
Super easy mode.
You know, I demoed the game a couple weeks ago in the Games Convention in Germany,
Oh, I was there.
And I was getting destroyed by the AI even on easy mode. We had done a lot of work recently, basically making the AI smarter, giving them more tactical knowledge, and we found that it made them really, really good. So for this show, we made easy mode really, really easy.
Yeah. Well, we only want to see you die once. After that, it becomes repetitive. How did you miss him?
Good question.
Because he was all over the place right in front of your gun.
It was very lucky.
Now, how realistic is this? Are you having to reload your magazines yourself? Okay. Nice effects. It's really nice.
And that's what dying looks like.
Okay.
So I mentioned this was a single life game type. However, when you're playing with the AI, if there are any AI team members left alive when you die, you can actually take over the AI.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to watch your AI play the rest of the level for you.
Really.
I think we're up to the final stage here. Make you guys dizzy walking up the stairs.
They don't actually get dizzy, do they?
What?
They don't actually get dizzy, do they?
No. I just figured it might make you dizzy.
That would be funny, though, you know?
It will.
Run up a bunch of stairs, come out the top, and then kind of fall over to your left or something.
So this level is actually a 1-to-1 scale recreation of a real place in Stalingrad. We actually had the opportunity to visit this grain elevator. It's still there.
Okay.
And take photographs and video. We were actually the first Westerners to be allowed into the grain elevator since the Russians kicked the Germans out in '43.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I love history stuff like that, too. Is that you dying again?
That is me dying
again. Be
again.
Repetitive after the first time.
I'm trying.
Okay. Oh, so that meant you were low on ammo?
What's that?
Does that mean you're low on ammo, that red bullet that came up?
Oh, that's a resupply area.
Oh, okay.
So there's ammo crates back here.
Oh, okay.
That means I can get more ammo there.
Right. So how interactive is the world? I notice you're shooting stuff and we see bullet holes in there, but is there much beyond that?
Yes. And in a little bit I'll show you all about the destruction. You know, bullets don't actually do a whole lot to the environment, but there's some things in the game that make big booms, and they will, well, you'll see.
Okay.
All right, so you want to see won the level? You want to see some sniper action?
Sure.
All right, great.
When is the game released?
2011.
Okay, so like on the third Tuesday after it's finished?
Something like that, yes.
So it looks pretty polished right now. I mean, it's looking pretty good.
Thank you.
So, when you guys are developing this, do you work on the method of polish as you go? Or how do you do that with your development?
You start out doing things very basic. I mean, we like to joke that at first the levels look like they're made out of Lego blocks. Because we really block everything in very basic.
You got a wireframe guy running around or something like that?
Not wireframe, but something similar. We'll have a real basic soldier. And from there we get the gameplay. We play the level, we make sure that it's fun. And then once we know that the flow of the level is really fun, then the art team will come in and go through and do many refinement passes on making it look better and better and better.
Yeah. So, okay, that makes sense.
So, sniper time.
Yeah.
This level is entitled Fallen Fighters. It's also a one-to-one recreation of a real place in Stalingrad. The guys also got to visit this location. While most of these buildings are different now, the layout of the environment is mostly the same. And this building here called the Univermag, very famous building, it's actually still there. So we were able to go in and take photographs, actually get blueprints of the building. Funny story,
Yeah, tell me a story. I love stories.
I can't remember his first name, but the curator of the museum here, his last name's Usik, and he actually made my two guys drink about a half a liter of vodka with him before he would show them around.
I've heard about stuff like this before. The people working on projects in Russia. Yeah.
Yes, and one of the guys he didn't drink, so he got a little silly.
Yeah.
From the half a liter of vodka.
Totally blitzed myself.
Sniper time.
Sniper time. Let's do it.
Okay, so one of the things that we featured in the original Red Orchestra was an innovative 3D scope system. Whereas instead of having a traditional 2D overlay where they just zoom the screen in, you could actually look through the lens of the sniper rifle and aim your weapon. We've greatly enhanced that for the new game. I'm going to demonstrate it now.
Okay.
So you can see here, one of the first obvious benefits is retaining your peripheral vision.
Yes, so you know when that guy's sneaking up.
Walking up right next to you,
yes.
Correct. So we've enhanced the visuals. You know, we've got a kind of like a refraction effect you'll see on the edge of the scope. Another thing that we've added is if you ever look through a scope or maybe a telescope or binoculars, you know when they get misaligned, you get kind of this black shadow effect.
Oh, okay.
We've actually implemented that for the game. As you can see, when you rotate the weapon quickly, the scope gets misaligned, and you get that ocular shadow effect.
And is that a real effect that happens?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it looks like when you look through one of these period World War II.
It actually happens on our cameras when we have the stabilizer turned on.
So another thing that we feature in the game is a full ballistic system, which we also had in Red Orchestra Ostfront. But one downside of the ballistic system in the first game was that when you were shooting at a distant enemy, you had to just aim a little bit higher to account for the bullet drop. This isn't really how it was done. For these weapons, they actually had the ability to dial in the range. As you can see here, we can now dial in the range on the sniper scopes, shoot directly at the distant enemy.
So is that automatic, or are you doing that yourself?
I'm doing that with the mouse wheel.
And how do you know what your range is? Oh, you got the range down here?
So that's the range I've dialed in. And part of it is learning the level, and also we've added when you kill someone, the range that they were at pops up.
Oh, okay.
So that helps you learn the distances in the various
so
levels.
you actually got to have it's like depth perception.
Yeah.
That you got to learn it.
Yeah, in the original game, as people got better at the levels, they had learned to estimate the distance and then aim a certain amount higher.
Right.
This is a little bit easier because now they just learn the distance and they just dial it in and shoot right at the person. And that's how the real sniper scopes actually work. I'm going to switch to one of the other sniper weapons to show you some of the other cool functionality.
Is that a cheat code?
That was a cheat code.
Oh my God, we got it on camera.
Sniper. Doesn't work in multiplayer. So traditionally with sniping, obviously sniper scopes are good for shooting at people at long range. But when people get close to you, you're kind of at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
But one of the things we learned in our research for the game is that these World War II era sniper scopes were actually still equipped with the regular weapon sights. So we added the ability to switch to the regular weapon sights.
Okay.
And then you can engage nearby enemies and then also engage long-range enemies.
Nice.
Also, not only can you dial in the range for your sniper scopes, you can dial in the range on your regular rifles as well.
Oh, interesting.
So, yep, that's the 3D sniper system.
Okay.
All right, now you asked about destruction earlier, or
yeah,
environmental effects. So
We had some big blow-ups.
I'm gonna show you some things blowing up.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of stories.
Okay.
So, tell me about a moment in the development of this that was an oh shit moment that you guys pulled through. Like when somebody actually hit the delete button and all the code went away, or that didn't happen.
That never happened. We take steps to make sure that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I think the most shocking moment was when we first started developing our tanks. Our goal for the game was to create the most immersive first-person tanking experience in a game ever made. In the original game, we had somewhat first-person experience, but we only modeled the area right around your player. For the new game, we model the entire interior. You could actually see your entire crew. When you fire the main cannon, someone grabs a big shell and shoves it in the gun. When your guns inside the tank run out of ammo, someone has to reload them. When a tank shell comes in, you can actually see the other player next to you die. It's very, very immersive. But we realized very quickly that it was also a lot of work. And we found that creating a tank for the new game creating one tank was about the equivalent of the work of creating 10 tanks for the previous game.
Oh.
So it was, we originally had a really giant list of vehicles we were going to put in the game. And we very quickly learned that that list was going to have to get a little shorter if we were ever going to ship the game.
Yeah, that sucks. But I totally understand.
So for the first game, we featured a squad leader that had some limited command capabilities. He could call in artillery and do a few other things. But for the new game, we've expanded this functionality quite a bit for the commander role. So there are command radios throughout the level that the commander can go up to and then bring up his command interface. Some of the things that he can do, first I'm going to demonstrate aerial recon. He can call a low-flying recon plane that will fly over the level.
He has to wait 3 minutes.
No, he has to wait 3 minutes until he can do it again.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he doesn't have to wait 3 minutes before it comes in.
Yeah, okay.
So that low-flying recon plane's flying over the battlefield. As you can see, he's radioing back the enemy positions, and it'll show up on my overhead map.
Okay.
This actually filters down the chain of command. So a squad leader below the commander gets the information a little bit later, and then an infantryman gets it a few seconds after that. So the real purpose of this is not to say for a person to be running around and say, oh, there's an enemy right around this corner. It's more a high-level tactical thing, like, oh, there's a tank over here. Oh, the enemy forces are moving this direction. So this really allows the commander to get the high-level tactical view of what's going on in the situation. Another thing we've added for the commander is this force respawn functionality. In a territory-based game type, in a respawn-based game type like Territory, you'll go into the respawn queue and wait a few seconds before you come back to life. With this, the commander can force the respawn to get the players in the game right now. It's on a cooldown period, so he can't do it over and over instantly. But at key moments in the battle, he can get his dead teammates back into the fight right then and potentially change the course of the battle.
Yeah.
So my plane has spotted some enemies in this village over here. I'm going to go take a look. I think I might need to drop some artillery on them. There's the recon plane up there. So yeah, some enemies over here. Let's get some artillery on them. Now you asked about destruction. In the original game, the environments were fairly static. So while you could kill players and vehicles with the tanks, the artillery had really no effect on the environment. For the new game, we've created what we call our massive destruction system. With massive destruction, we can actually dynamically destroy any of the objects in the environment that we would like. As you can see here, it'll be demonstrated in just a moment.
Cool. And of course that wiped out everybody that was in those buildings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you can see, one of the things that we do gameplay-wise, particularly with buildings, we'll allow them to be damaged and they'll get holes in them and stuff, but we don't completely destroy them. And this is for gameplay, because we learned very early on, if you completely destroy everything in a level, you have guys standing around in fields shooting each other with rifles in completely open fields. And it's just not fun for gameplay. So that concludes the playthrough part of the demonstration.
The demo portion of it. So, okay, so now I know that this is a, this is not like an MMO, this is like a first-person shooter. So if you buy the game once, I imagine that's the model you're setting up.
Yes.
And where do you hope that the game will go once it's in production selling? Where's it going to go from there? Is it just done, or do you have more content that'll come out?
It's absolutely not done at that point. One of the big things that we do with Tripwire Interactive is we want, one, to provide a good value when somebody buys the game, but we also want people to know that they're not just buying what they get in the box, they're buying what they're going to get for months and potentially years after the release. Traditionally, with the first Red Orchestra, the game's been out 4.5 years. We put out free update packs with levels, vehicles, etc. 3 years, up to 3 years after the release. Killing Floor, our second game, same thing. We shipped with 4 maps. I think we're up to 15 maps now in the game. So we have the same plan for Heroes of Stalingrad. We're going to continue to expand the game and give the players value far beyond when we ship. New levels, new vehicles, new gameplay scenarios.
How about in the spirit of how you got your start? Is there any player mod availability?
Yeah, we're going to ship with a full mod SDK.
Okay.
But we're also doing a really unique experiment right now. We've actually took the best mod teams from the original Red Orchestra, gathered all of the best people, put them into one all-star mod team, and we're having them now develop an expansion for Heroes of Stalingrad. We're giving them the mod tools a year before the game ships.
That's sweet.
And we're giving them the opportunity, if the mod they create is really, really good, we're going to bring it in-house, polish it up, and then release that as a commercial expansion. If it's just kind of good or pretty good, then we'll release it as a free mod. But it'll be a free mod that will come out very soon after the initial release, as opposed to a traditional full mod that comes out a year or two after the release of the game.
Yeah, that's really sweet. Well, John, I want to thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
And I look forward to the game. It looks like something I'll play, especially when there's tanks. And we'll hit you up for it next conference. When you got tanks, we'll be here.
All right, great. Thank you.
Everybody take care.